Okay, so we're going to look at texture in Photoshop. I've got my Ian Murray vector illustration. I've also popped the work in as well on a different artboard. So the first way I'm going to show you is using my magic wand tool. I'm going to select, oh, I'm on the wrong layer. I'm going to select the pixels of my palm tree. You'll see that it hasn't quite picked up all of them. So I've got two ways to pick them up. One is to press Shift and I can choose other parts of the composition. The other way is once I've selected my particular hue, if I go up to similar, select and then similar, you can see it picks them up for me. Once I've got those pixels selected, I'm going to go back to this layer, which is a texture that I've already found. And I've still got that palm tree selected, but instead now I'm on this wave texture. You could put in a painted texture, a photograph texture, a second hand texture. It might be grainy, it might be theme specific. Instead of actually wanting this palm tree to be selected, I want everything outside of it. So if I go up to select and go to inverse and then hit delete, you can see I've got the palm tree picked out. What I'm now going to do is go to my blending mode. So on my layers panel, I'm going to look at the different ways that that top texture layer can interact with the artwork underneath. And there's lots of different ways. You can choose the one that feels most appropriate. I'm just going to go for overlay. It sort of seems to make sense. And then pressed Control D, and I've added some texture to my illustration. So that's one way. Another way, if I use my magic wand tool again, and I'm going to select all of my hues that are in that pink, and I'm going to create a mask to work with. Oh, actually, before I do that, I'm going to duplicate the layer so that I've got an original to work with. So on this layer, I'm going to create a mask. So I'm only working with my pinks here. And what I'm going to do on that layer is I'm going to go to my filter gallery. And if I go in, I quite liked this filter. So I'm going to zoom out to a smaller size here. 50%. No, let me go fit. Okay, so you can see it's obviously as a mask. What I might do if I click on here instead and do the filter gallery, I'm not going to have the mask version visible. I'm going to have the artwork, but it will only apply it to what's been masked out. Fit on screen. So this would be too blurry to read, but I do like the texture it's applying to the pink. So I found that in distort, glass, and then I changed it from the default of frosted to tiny lens, and then a few other edits. So if I press OK, you can see it's sort of like that halftone effect. And if I turn the visibility on, you can see I'm starting to build up some textures to work with. I would work with the masks because that way you can work on separate parts of your composition in isolation rather than all of it in its entirety. And you can obviously double up. So if I do want to add that filter gallery, that glass one to that top layer as well, I can. And it's also got the wave type texture already applied to it. So you can add multiple layers and textures to your work.